All right, we have the Happy Warrior joining us right now, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One, she's got a big fight coming up against Lauren Murphy on June 20th. The other, in times like these in the country and in the world, we need a bit of Happy Warrior in our lives, and that is why Roxanne Modaferri joins the show for the first time. How are you, Roxy?
I'm awesome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. First things first, 2020 has just been a wild year. We've got a global pandemic. We got protests. The fight for equality is this bigger fight than it's ever been. Police brutality, a lot of things that people have been dealing with. As an optimistic guy myself, I sometimes find myself wondering how much optimism I have left. Luckily, I take a look at my 7-year-old, and when I do, he just like snaps me right out of it. So how do you stay positive all the time when things get tough, whether it's something that happens to you directly or around you?
All right. Just in general, I just try to look at things around me and find anything positive, and focus on the positive more than the negative, because there's always something, whether it be the fact that I got up in the morning or I have friends or, my parents are still alive or anything. I just try to focus on whatever I can. And, what is filling your mind is affecting your emotions. So that's what I try to do.
So just little things, just try to find like little things and just have them build up. And eventually the more you build them up, the more optimistic we can get.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. It is an interesting time.
Make a political statement. I'm trying to avoid.
No. I was just, this is a positivity only thing here. I totally understand where you're coming from, but it is an interesting time for sure. And while there's a lot of businesses and sports leagues shut down, the UFC is off and running, and you get to fight in your backyard at the Apex in Las Vegas.
Grateful for that so much.
That's always nice. And you get to do it against a game opponent you have a lot of respect for, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I know you've talked about your last fight a bunch of times against Maycee Barber. And what's interesting about the sport is that you could be in it for such a long time and have a lot of great wins, but one night can just shoot your popularity through the roof. And I feel like that's what happened with you. Do you feel the same way?
I'm not really sure, but I know that a lot of people were counting me out. And, Maycee had a pretty big, she was on I'm not sure how to describe it. She had a lot of hype behind her. So I gladly rode that hype train and then derailed it. So that helped me out a lot.
One thing that I especially noticed, and I think everybody else did as well, heading into the Barber fight, was the incredible condition you were in. Like, people are saying things like, oh man, Roxy looks jacked, best she's ever looked. And I know that like lifting weights and doing that stuff, I believe you stated before that was something you didn't enjoy, mostly because you didn't have the guidance that you needed, but things changed for you. Why did they?
Exactly. I found Lorenzo Pavlica, and he's my strength and conditioning trainer. He really does a good job. Like, I don't have to understand how it works. I just do what he says, so I quit trying to understand it. I don't write down any of my numbers. He writes down everything. Off season, he has me doing a lot of strength and things that build my explosion. And then, when the fight comes up, we do a lot of stamina training. So he's, 100% the reason that I'm stronger, and it's really cool that other people say that. I can tell him, like, brag to him, like, Daddy, look at my, our results, sort of thing. But I'm really pleased with that. And I've been training so much over the lockdown period with him. You're going to see even a stronger Roxy, I think.
I was going to say, I spoke with John Wood, your head coach, prior to UFC 249, because he was out helping Donald Cerrone, and it was obviously a rough time for him because the gym had been shut down. But if you look at your social media, like you said, you're still getting work in. Some of your other coaches have been able to set up like an outdoor training place for you. And does it almost like in a way feel like a throwback training camp in a way? Like you're out of the gym and you're just trying to do whatever you can to get ready?
Like in hindsight, my training, like half of my training camp were in parks and a garage. I just didn't have a fight set, but I had a feeling like I got to keep training. I got to keep getting stronger. I got to keep making strides, and then, recently I've been able to train with my normal training partners again and kind of get back to normal. So it's like been a 2-part camp. So it's been crazy, but I've grown a lot over that period. So I'm excited to see what I can do.
I feel like a lot of fighters have done that. They've used this time to their advantage. Some people have been like, oh, this brings them down, but others have gotten in the best shape of their lives.
Pretty much, that's me.
And now you get Lauren Murphy, and I feel like this fight has been discussed for a while now. In fact, I had heard that before the fight with Maycee Barber was set, that the original plan for January was that you were supposed to fight Lauren before the UFC shuffled things up. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
And there's a ton of respect here, which I love. There's no bones about it. There's not going to be any trash talk or anything like that. All out of fun and respect. There's also genuine excitement from both of you ladies, which I also enjoy. What excites you the most about this fight with Lauren Murphy?
Well, looking in the top 10, like, she's always made weight, and like a ton of people all around us, in the division have not made weight. And I've fought a few people already. Like, I don't really want to rematch a few people. So it's like, who do I want to fight? Lauren seems nice. And she said like, hey, let's fight. And I'm like, cool. Oh, just kidding. We're fighting Maycee Barber. Are you fighting Andrea Lee? Okay. Oh, you want to fight again? Oh, great. So I don't know. Our styles are great, together. I think we both believe, obviously we're going to win. But I'm going to. I think that, my technique works well with her. I'm going to try some new stuff as well. I also have a new super attack that I shall debut. I think we shall see.
Super attack, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now you got me super intrigued right now, Roxanne.
Oh, yeah.
What did you think of her last fight with Andrea Lee? Because Lauren did get the split decision in the end, but regardless of how anybody scored the fight, Lauren moving to Houston and getting back with her old team turned out to be a great decision for her. She's looked pretty darn good as of late. And as someone who's kind of followed Lauren for a while, you're in the tough house with her. What have you made of her improvements and really the changes she made from a mental standpoint?
I haven't really followed. I don't really know that many details about that, so I don't know.
Oh, fair enough. I didn't know if you watched her fight and saw improvements or watched film or anything like that.
I don't know. I'm not such a great analyst.
Oh,
I just
fair
tried to
enough.
hit her face.
Oh, fair enough. That's what we like to hear. One of the first things people said when this fight was reported was winner's going to get a title shot. And you're at a really interesting position because your teammate is next in line for a title shot. So in a weird way, you're fighting for position in the division, but you don't have to put that kind of pressure on yourself that this is like a title eliminator bout because JoJo is next. Is that how you're kind of approaching this as well?
Everyone always asks me that. Two fights have to happen before that's even possible, So I'm just going to focus on Lauren and executing my game plan on her and not think about anything else because that's all that's in front of me,
Right. And that was my point, that you don't have to think about titles because someone else is already in line. You don't have to put that kind of pressure on yourself.
Uh-huh.
And you've done the empty.
I don't even know who said it's a title contention shot. No, Dana White didn't say that. Did everyone just oh, guess what? I don't know. I just heard it online. So who knows if that's even the case, I don't know. You
know how fans are, Roxy. They're all matchmakers. Everybody's a matchmaker now.
This is true.
You've done the empty arena fights before on tough, two different occasions. And Lauren's got that experience as well. What kind of stuck out to you, fighting without a crowd in those tough fights that helps you get ready for this? Do you enjoy that?
I don't really care. It doesn't really make a difference to me, honestly. I don't care.
You don't care? Have you been watching the other fights in the empty arenas and hearing the coaches and being able to hear the fighters being able to hear the commentators and things like that?
I've never heard. Okay, so that's one new thing. I've never heard commentators because on The Ultimate Fighter there were no commentators, right? It was just my coaches and the other guys' coaches who I could hear. So I'm looking forward to hearing some good commentating advice. Please, whoever you are, please speak up. So I can hear you.
What I'm not going to ask you for a prediction because you don't really strike me in that way, but what can fans expect at least in this big, besides the superpowers you're about to expose in this fight, what can fans expect in this big fight, 125 pounds next weekend?
Violence.
Before I let you go, Roxanne, this is one of my favorite things to talk about because I did want to ask you about a couple of your teammates because I've been interviewing the next wave of talent for a long time now. Uh-huh. And two of the brightest prospects of the sport, you've shared the Syndicate MMA mats with. One is there all the time. The other comes in during fight camps. Jasmine Jasdavizius is one, but Jordan Levitt is another one. Both are very exciting prospects. Jordan's personality from the times I've interviewed him is something else. This is a guy who is probably wearing Christmas. He's probably wearing Christmas pajamas right now in June. The guy is a character. What have you've been with Jordan for a long time. He looks up to you. You're like a big sister to him. What have you made of his progression and the potential of both of those athletes that people should really keep an eye on right now?
Well, Jordan was wearing like I don't know, tiger print red spats today, just for information. But no, he's so cool. I love that guy so much. His nickname is the Monkey King. Yep. He's such a sick grappler. Every time I roll with him, I feel like there's no more gravity in the room anymore. Suddenly it's like we're everywhere, right? he's just sick, and he helps me teach kids. We teach kids together sometimes. I just love seeing him fight. I can't wait for his next opportunity. You know, I think he's going to go really far. He's just crazy. Like, his skill set is crazy.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about him is that a lot of the hard lessons that fighters learned late in their careers, he's learning now. Like, every fight he gets in, there's something chaotic that happens, whether it's at weigh-ins or the flight over or something happens to him, and he always comes through and gets a win. It's pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. I'm really looking forward. And then one thing he did want me to ask you at some point, if we ever interviewed, was your thoughts on the Syndicate MMA Christmas party.
Which one?
Anyone. He said the last one was pretty wild. There was some sort of eating contest that I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was pretty wild.
I think, was that the one where Brandon that people were betting on him to eat like a 10-pound can of beans or something?
Yes, yeah.
Oh man, that poor guy. I was like, don't bet him that. He's gonna do it, and it was disgusting. And I left before he finished it. But and then like we did like the white elephant gift game where, you know, you exchange presents, and like somebody got like a sex doll, and I think I got like, what did I get? I got some really inappropriate, I forget what it was, and I kind of like left it on the stairs before I went home. I think I got like alcohol or something. I don't drink alcohol. I don't know. It was great.
So it's just that's people watching personified for you. You're just like, oh man, I can't wait to watch this chaos ensue right before Santa comes down the chimney there.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Roxanne, always great catching up with these fighters, especially this is the first time you and I have talked. I appreciate the time very much. And I know when you're on with Jose Youngs, you get a lot of the anime questions, and we're going to save those for your next appearance on the A-Side live chat. All the best to you next weekend, Roxy. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Tune in to my fight. It'll be awesome.